Yeah. Yeah. No threatening.
I see. Like all of that is a chance for publishers to double dip.
But it's good for the consumer though. It is good. It is good. It's a good thing.
I don't know.
Cause think about Resident Evil 2. Ain't nobody going back to play that. Nobody. Not a single soul. But the remake, new engine.
Yeah, no. I'm saying like the remake is what makes it useful. But if Resident 2 were to be like remastered, like the old one.
But the thing
is exactly like you said. Everybody playing that.
Yeah, but the thing is, but a remaster, it takes way less. You cut off way less time, way less resources than actually making a whole remake. A remake, you're literally rebuilding the game.
Yeah, but all a remaster is like the same game over again. It's exactly like you said. Like you cut out all the time that you would making a remake, but that's because you already have the game.
Yeah, it's the same game over, but
it's selling the same game over.
It's the same game, but it's not the same game to someone who's never played it. It's a new game,
and that's kind of my thing. That's what I was going on. Like that's what a lot of publishers bank on. Because you brought up the scenario about having not ever played Last of Us.
I'd never played the first one.
So they remastered it for PS4. But from a consumer standpoint, just based on the amount of like money that you had to spend, the amount of capital that you yourself spent, what would have been more advantageous for you in that regard? Buying a new PS4 and buying a new game full price, or buying a PS3 and buying a game at a discount? Like that's the thing that
your boy bought the Last of Us bundle,
right? Exactly.
The PS4 bundle.
And you were lucky that bad boy came in a bundle. Otherwise, you would be spending $460 to play Last of Us instead of what, like the PS3 was like at $200 at that point, and Last of Us 1 may have been like $30. You spent like twice as much money as you could have spent, and that's just because they had put the game out as a remaster. It's like it's the same game, looks a little better. You're spending full price for it. And they're sitting there going like, no, this is like a completely new thing. It's like, of course, they want the customers to think that it's customer friendly. It's like it's really not. It's like you're double dipping. It's like you're asking us to pay full price for the same game that's just touched up a little bit.
See, I'm not. You can't be fully mad at a remaster because, like, when the game. See, but this is where Last of Us kind of gets iffy on those microtransaction things that they had in the multiplayer, because they did give us the game and the multiplayer free, but these bozos put in a bunch of purchased weapons and purchased items, like, oh yeah, $3 here, $5 here. This was before the Overwatch days, and and the freaking they were
still seen as evil.
They were doing this back in 2010, like what, as early as 2010, trying to get away with that stuff. And did get away with that stuff. You suckers would sell. Oh yeah, this shotgun you could shoot halfway across the map, has the same hit power as a freaking sniper rifle.
Nothing.
Like, has no, man. And it's just $4. You already paid $60. What's $4 to be the god, the god of multiplayer?
Exactly. Like, hey, don't you want to like win multiplayer?
Yeah, it's like, man, yeah, they were never doing that stuff way before. But I was saying that to say, like, oh yeah, if they had the remaster and they went ahead and pushed that boy out, that's because, like, a lot of these games take a lot to make, take a lot of time, and you really don't see your profit until, like, years later. So what's another to really send your profits over? Make a little remaster,
Who are you selling this to? Because you're not going to recoup those profits selling to people who have never played the game before. And I think that's exactly the thing.
But the thing is, they spend way less money, and they will make more money on a remake. Like, bro, right now, the remake is sold out, and people had another problem with the remake being $70
for Last of Us 1.
Yes, the remake.
Even then, I will give that a bit of just the tiniest bit of credit, because at least it's considered a remake. Like, it was built from the ground up using the assets from the second game, or the engine from the second game.
Mm-hmm.
It's I would even at least give that a bit of credit. But even beyond that, Last of Us 1, the original came out 10 years ago. We've had a whole second game and everything beyond that. It makes a lot more sense to make a remake of that now than it did to make a remaster of the game a year after it originally came out.
But these dudes are complaining about the game being $70. And I feel like the people that's complaining are these PC terrorists who paid $20 for these stolen keys.
Yes, sir. hey, I buy my keys legitimately, sir.
Legitimately stolen off a legitimate website that they stole.
That website has a URL, sir. I paid real money for this. This is not Bitcoin.
These is man, this game is $70. Man, it's not consumer from it. Bro, they're well, I'm look, if it's too much, if $70 too much, don't buy it. But you know what everybody does? If you look on the website right now, the remaster is $70, sold out. The $100 deluxe edition, completely sold out. They're both sold out. They gone.
I imagine he has enough diehard fans to make that cost. And even then, if those are the PC players, you're saying that they sure as heck ain't buying the game because they ain't got no PS5s. I would look at it it would be cool to play the game all over again, looking much better and remade and everything. But I sure as hell ain't gonna spend $70 on it. Yeah.
See,
I don't buy games full price to begin with.
That's my point. You don't buy.
Even if I did, I would kind of be looking at that and going, "Oh, y'all gotta," especially for something like this. It's it's gonna cost a little bit more to make this than it would have been to make a remaster. But even then, you still got the same basis for the game. Y'all didn't bring voice actors. You got
the same story, but it is not the same game.
It's not the same gameplay. Yeah, you had to pay more animators and maybe even a little bit of back design and stuff like that. But you didn't have to pay voice actors. You didn't have to pay freaking storyboarders or something like that. You didn't have to pay no writers. Nah, you didn't have to pay a director. Y'all didn't bring Neil back to redirect the doggone game. Nah, fam. Nah, especially for something like this. Nah, y'all already got the basis for this. You can't tell me that the cost of remaking this game would be enough to be no, we gotta charge $70 for this. Nah, y'all trying to recoup, and that's fine. That's fine. You're trying to recoup, but you don't know. You're trying to recoup for something that was 10 years and 2 generations ago. If you ain't recouped the money from that, I would kind of call that a loss.
See, but you saying that now, but you ain't seen not a lick of gameplay yet. You saw Joe fighting off the clicker, or bobbing and weaving the clicker. Man, I'm telling you, that game finna look crazy.
It required some work, not a zero level of work, a non-zero level of dedication went into it.
It's rebuilt. It's rebuilt like a brand new game. Just because you didn't have to come up with the story. Half these games already got the story written down. It's already
How much it costs to rebuild a game, though? Especially for a game engine that you already got. Y'all recouped y'all's money for Last of Us 2. You can't tell me you didn't. So y'all sitting there telling me, we had the engine on spec and everything. We had the team on call. But it just cost so much money to remake this game. We just had to raise it $10. Nah, fam.
They rebuilding a game that's 2 generations old. Of course, it had to spend some coin.
Yeah, just how much coin? Though?
Two generations. 2 whole generations.
They already got the engine. It would be one thing if y'all hadn't already built the engine for Last of Us 2. Y'all hadn't already developed that.
I mean, nobody build the engine from the ground up and make a whole new game. That's really rare. Mostly people jump on Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true.
Mostly people snag Unreal Engine 5. Oh, let me get that. Use this engine.
Like, they did more retooling for Last of Us 2.
Capcom.
Hey! Listen, it's recycling, sir. It's being efficient.
I'm not saying that it ain't beautiful. It's beautiful, but y'all ain't nobody out here rebuilding engines.
I mean, that just kind of goes a little bit more towards my argument, though, where it's like, what are y'all doing then? It's like, where all this money going to then? It's like, if you rebuild what? It's like, y'all had some animators come in and everything. It's cool. They came in on the weekends.
Because the thing is, you're saying that they're using the same engine from the second game, but the second game they don't have the same mechanics. Ain't no crawling in Last of Us 1. And if it is crawling in Last of Us Part 1, this is a whole new game.
No, I'm saying they're basing the remake off of like the mechanics and everything from the second game, which is cool. Like you would expect. Like I would hope that that's the case. Like they're upping the gameplay and making it more like Last of Us 2, because Last of Us 2 is what they wanted to do in Last of Us 1 but couldn't do because of technical like limitations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that's fine. It's like y'all do already have the engine. Y'all do already have the mechanics. Y'all do already have the assets. I mean, you just got to touch them up a little bit or like attribute them to a different game. But you already got it. You did it for Last of Us 2. It's like if you want to say The Last of Us 2 cost $70, fine. But if you telling me The Last of Us 2 cost $60 and y'all just gotta charge $70 for Last of Us 1 remake, nah, fam, I don't believe it.
So you're saying that they could have sold this game for what? What would you pay for Last of Us Part 1 remake?
You want to get on that subject?
What would you pay?
I'm
about to say. Oh, I was about to say 30. I was about to say $30, $40.
I was just trying to give them the benefit of a doubt. Like, listen, it's a remake. That's cool and everything. It good for you. I mean,
but listen, you have to understand. Not only is this is a remake. This is a remake by one of the most prolific game developers out there, who's handed us nothing but fire. They've handed us fire year after year after year after year. They've just been giving us heat.
That's arguable.
They've been giving us heat, man. I can't say the last time they gave us a bad game. A game came out, dang, I can't play this. All these glitches, and all it is. Oh man, I can't play this game.
You're right on that regard. They've been
they ain't never gave us something half baked.
They put a lot of work into it, yes, but I still feel like it's like, even in this regard, it's like it's double dipping, because it's like not only is this a remake of a game that you already put out, which is fine, but it's a remake using assets that you kind of already got. It's like I'm looking at this,
but it's assets that they had to get in the first place. It's something that they had to work for to get.
They already made their money off of that venture. I mean, they made it when they put out Last of Us 2.
I don't know, man. They still
to me it's kind of like
they, like he said, they hired a bunch more people. They got a bunch more projects they had to work on. That stuff ain't cheap. They gotta cut resources.
That ain't cheap. I think that's what they're going off of. It's like if you were to tell me that this, like, the venture, as far as the game was concerned, was so cost ineffective that they had to raise the price, I wouldn't believe it. But I do believe that they're trying to put everything that they have in the pipeline into effect, which is why they're trying to raise the price. And of course, everybody loves profit. So everybody loves money. You can't tell Neil ain't gonna sit here and tell me he don't want no money.
You gotta make the money, man. Everybody gotta eat.
Man,
you think Troy get those good haircuts? Not with a great Naughty Dog salary.
Sure, didn't get them good shoes. Them shoes cost some money.
Man, you saw the buttons on Neil's shirt.
Neil need a new shirt. He certainly is not spending that money. That man sure need ironing. But no, I get why they would want to, but I certainly don't believe that they need to, especially not at this point. It's like you made the kind of profit that you did. You got. Because and there's another big part you skipping over. This joint is coming to portable computers.
portable wait, is that what PCs are for portable, right?
Personal.
Personal computers. How much you think that costs, my boy?
Okay.
How much you think that costs?
Okay.
That put in.
I will give you that. I forgot about that.
Oh, that
development does cost a lot.
They said also in development. They like, look, yeah, we could have gave you this for $40, but if we want to give y'all what we want to give y'all, which is what we have been giving y'all, these quality games, quality graphics, quality gameplay. If y'all want all of this,
even
I'm gonna need to see. They gonna need to see something off the back end.
Even then, you would only convince me that would be like justification for it being full price. You're not gonna
because the PC version is not gonna be $70. That ain't gonna be like $30. Y'all know how y'all get down on PC. He already know y'all still.
No, they gonna make it. No, they gonna make it $70. They made the freaking what's this?
A God of War?
No, Final Fantasy VII. The remake for that is $70. I just bought that mug for $40. Like that mug was $70. Like they have no qualms with making that.
But I'm talking about with Sony. I'm talking about with Sony. Final Fantasy VII remake was $70.
Yes.
See, but
granted, that's technically considered new IP, but they don't have any qualms about making this stuff over over MSRP.
See, but that's what probably only on Steam though.
I bought Final Fantasy on Epic.
Oh yeah, that's true. But you're not gonna get Last of Us on Epic Game Store.
You might.
But the thing is, I think that even if you do have this $70 price tag, this thing, there will these vultures will scour the internet and find it for the low.
Yes, I will.
You have to mitigate those prices. He said, "Yes, I will."
Yes, I will.
you have to account for all of that, and that's what they're doing, man. This is a popular series. They got the show coming out. They got the multiplayer coming out.
Need I remind you? In GI, they approved this years ago. Need I remind you that PC is the most profitable medium in the gaming space. Even as of yet, as of today, which would be expected because I mean,
yeah, it's more profitable because you don't have to necessarily make any hardware to play your game and do all this other stuff. Yeah.
All you gotta do is upgrade the optimization.
Mm-hmm.
And people will buy it. Like more people have statistically more people have PCs.
People will buy it and people will steal it. They will steal it. You will get most of it. It's more profitable, but it's riskier as well. It's more profitable, but it's also riskier.
I don't know if it's riskier enough to to raise the MSRP though. I don't know.
And it's not raised. This is current. This is how it's always been. It's always been $70. It's always been $70.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what they'll tell me. Yeah,
it'll always be 70 bones, man. $70.
They're gonna say that when they raised it to 85 in 5 years.
Man, you should.
When you account for inflation,
I know you've seen those. Not even inflation. I know you've seen those prices of those old Nintendo cartridges. Them joints were like $110 back in the day.
Good point.
Have you seen those? Games were $100.
Those suckers was expensive.
30 years ago, they were. 30 years ago, games were $100.
Yeah.
And boy, you look at the graphics now, boy, it look like I'm on screen.
practically make yourself.
For real. According to Saints Row. Lion.
I was just about to say.
Lion.
Could make me a Saints Row boy.
But yeah, all that to say, I think remakes are... I think they have their necessary space for gaming.
I love remakes. I absolutely agree.
And remasters. They got their space. They got their space in gaming. They got their space in gaming.
I don't know. It just sounds like publishers trying to double dip to me. I'm just saying about all the remasters that have come out, like in the last few years and everything like that. Like none of those things have ever been like substantial enough to warrant them coming out as new games. It's like whatever reason, like folks come up with like, oh, you know, we wanted to bring this to a new system or anything like that. Like those are fine as reasons. But if you compare like their utilities, just utility of like the original game, it's like the best they could do. The best they could do is bring it up to like good graphical quality. I think about like the Arkham remakes. Like those were nothing new about those games. They actually looked worse. But even then, like all they were supposed to do was like bring new instances of the games to newer hardware. It's like the only Arkham game that was on PS4 was Arkham Knight. So they remastered it and put Arkham City and Arkham Asylum on PS4. It's like now you can play those games. It's like, all right, yeah, you know, cool. That is a reason, but it's still not like anything preferable, or I would argue worth your time. Worth your time than just playing it on the system that was originally.
But if you didn't have that original system,
it was
like, look, cheaper. It's like, look, you got the remaster. But for the people like me, I was gonna get a PS4 anyway.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're banking on.
I was gonna get one anyway when they popped out with the Last of Us remaster. I'm like, oh, I was gonna get one anyway, and I get to get a game that I want wanted to play, or two played and would like to have it on the other console. Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
But here's my kind of other thing with it. It was like remasters. They are still being sold as like not new IP, but new like serials. Like they're being sold as like new products, even if they're not new intellectual property. But it's like the alternative to that would be something like what's the freaking
remasters aren't sold as like brand new games.
They're sold at the same. They're sold at the same like price point, or maybe a little bit discounted. But even then, like I know Last of Us Remastered was absolutely sold at the same price point. It's like, yeah, Arkham City came out. Arkham Asylum City came out in a bundle, but yeah, those games were sold like 7 years after the fact. It's like they still priced them at a premium price point, as if, oh, this is a game that you're like a new game that's worth buying at this price point. It's like, no, it's the same old game that you played. It just looks a little different. But that's functionally not any different than like backwards compatibility. It just looks better. So why not just go for backwards compatibility, especially in Last of Us case, because that's Sony's game. Like you could have just put this on PS4 and have people play it on there, like up the resolution a little bit, and like not have like if you wanted to play the game, you can play this on the PS4 with your PSP cartridge. Backwards compatibility has a precedent. It's like, nah, y'all was sitting there like, nah, like if you want to play it on here, buy the game again. It's like, nah, like that in lieu of backwards compatibility, like y'all are double dipping. Like that's exactly what that feels like. And of course, I'm sure they would sit here and be like, well, we don't have a vested interest in doing that, but I mean, you know, they get to have more money, which everybody likes. It's like, nah, a decent alternative to backwards compatibility would be, I mean, a decent alternative.
Bro, it came out. It was $34 for the physical, and $49 for a download code.
49. Okay, technically a discount. Yes.
$34 for physical. That's half off for a remaster. That's half off.
Remaster, man.
That's half off.
You know what it could have been. I'll guarantee that. But you know what it could have been? It could have been free.
Nah, man.
It could have been free.
See, at first it was like, man, it came out same price, a little bit discounted.
Yeah.
Now it's half. Nah, you ain't gonna get that thing away for free.
No, but you have precedent for backwards compatibility. They just didn't implement it. And you got to, like, now you sit there, you got to ask yourself, like, well, why? Why didn't y'all
do backwards compatibility, that's a whole nother can of worms, man. A whole nother can.
That can't be any harder than making a remaster of the game. That's essentially what they're doing. Like, they're essentially putting that work into making.
But the thing was, it was quote unquote backwards compatible because you could play PS3 people on PS4 with
No, that's the opposite of backwards compatible. Because it's like, oh, we acknowledge that you can go back and you can play people who are on those systems, but you can't play this game on your system itself. So it's
no, because it doesn't have the same hard. It doesn't have the same. It can't run this. Not at this quality. A PS3 cannot run the remaster version of freaking The Last of Us.
No, I'm talking about the PS4 version running the PS3 version of Last of Us. Like, if you already had the PS3 version of Last of Us,
why would you want to do that? Why would you want to? If they're gonna remaster the game,
like it was not going to be at a higher resolution. Like, it would have been at like higher fidelity if they made a remake, made a remaster of it. But if you didn't want to play at that price and you already had the game on PS3, then why not? Like, if you had already bought the game for PS3, or you wanted to buy the game for PS3 because it was like $20 or even $15 at that time, why shouldn't you have been able to do that and just play it on your PS4 if you already knew that the PS4's hardware was compatible enough to play people on PS3? It's like, oh, okay, you would like the publisher or developer, they acknowledge that like the hardware is enough, or at least the infrastructure is enough for the two versions to be compatible, but they still won't allow you to play the PS3 version on PS4.
Nah, man.
Nah.
You can't say, oh, it's backwards compatible. That PS3 version, trying to play that on the PS4 version, is like,
why not?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, do it, but it's like, then what would be the point in even making a PS4 if you could play everything on a PS3?
Playing new games, like making new games, I'm looking at that.
They gave us The Last of Us 2, Part 2. They gave us they gave us that,
but that even then, like, that didn't come till years later.
Well, that's like saying, why put The Last of Us Remake on PC? Why do that? Ain't no point in doing that. Get you a PS4 or get you a PS5.
That's actually a very cogent point. Yes,
it's like
it's a very cogent
like
point.
No, we're not gonna put it on PC. Y'all gonna hold that.
That is a very cogent
it's
point.
It's like, no, we're gonna put it on PC because y'all want to see it looking better. Y'all want to do all this. Y'all terrorists want to put the mods on. You want to run around. You want to run around.
The answer to that is like, you brought up the answers to, like, the kind of folks who like had only had PC and hadn't played this kind of thing on PS3. They would or any PlayStation system or any console. They would have had the reason for that. But if you went from a PS3 to a PS4, then there absolutely was no reason. But Naughty Dog's still selling the game to you. It's like they still won't allow you to play the PS3 game that you got. If that was the case, they would have allowed you to play the PS3 game on PS4, but they still didn't. It's like they're banking off the fact that even people who had the game before on PS3 are still going to buy it on PS4. That's double dipping to me.
I guess we gonna have to agree to disagree, because I think it has a place in the community. It has a place.
I think the place is in the pockets of Mr. Druckmann.
Hey, both two things can be true. I would want to make my money too. I want to make my money off of something that I created.
Oh no, I'm saying that's the exclusive reason. Like,
only to make money. Nah, man, you trying to spread the story of Ellie and Joel, the two.
You know how you could have spread that story by making the game backwards compatible on PS4. But he didn't do that. Like, folks already had they already had the game, but if they oh no, you won't be able to like play it on here. If you want to play it on PS4, you just have to buy it again. Nah, Neil. I see what you're up to. See what you're up to, Sony.